Once there was an old sow mother with 3 pig brothers, and she could no longer keep them all at home beneath one roof. So she sent them out into the world to seek their fortune and to build homes of their own. The 3 brothers left the cottage together and set off down the country road. They traveled on together, all planning to make houses for themselves. Before they had gone very far, they met a man carrying a bundle of straw. The first pig brother looked at the straw and thought it would save him a great deal of time and effort. So he said, "Please, man, give me that straw to build me a house." The man kindly gave the straw to him, and the first pig brother built a straw house right where he stood. When it was done, he stepped inside, very pleased with how quickly he had finished. Meanwhile, the second and third pig brothers continued toward the brickworks. But before long, a wolf came by and reached the straw house door. He knocked at the door and called, "Pig, pig, let me come in." But first pig brother answered from inside, "No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." Then the wolf said, "Then I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house in." So the wolf planted himself before the straw house and began to draw in a mighty breath. His eyes opened wide in fierce determination. Then his chest and belly swelled bigger and bigger with the breath he drew in. He held the breath tight in his muzzle for one straining moment. Then he blew with all his might at the straw house. The straw walls shivered, and the door rattled under the blast. And the straw house came tumbling down. At once, the first pig brother burst out from the wrecked house. Then he ran away as fast as he could. Meanwhile, the second and third brothers continued toward the brickworks. Soon they met a man carrying a bundle of sticks. The second brother looked at the sticks and thought they would do quite well. They seemed stronger than straw, and he too preferred an easier way. He did not wish to travel any farther than he had to, so he asked the man for the sticks. "Please, man, give me those sticks to build me a house." The man kindly gave them to him, and the second brother quickly built himself a house of sticks. When it was finished, he went inside and settled in, pleased to be done so soon. It was not long before the wolf came there as well. "Pig, pig, let me come in." "No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house in." So the wolf huffed and puffed and puffed and huffed, until at last the stick house fell apart. The second brother wasted no time. He ran from the broken house and hurried down the road. At last, the third brother reached the brickworks. There he met a man with a load of bricks. "Please, man, give me those bricks to build a house with." The man kindly did so, and the third brother set to work. Unlike the others, he did not rush. He built carefully and properly, taking time to make the walls strong and the house sound. By the time he had finished, it was a fine brick house, sturdy and well made. Soon the other 2 brothers arrived, and the third brother welcomed them inside. He shut the door fast and barred it well. Then the wolf came to the brick house and called, just as he had before, "Pig, pig, let me come in." But the third brother answered, "No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house in." So the wolf huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed and puffed again and again. But the brick house stood firm. It did not tremble, it did not crack, and it did not fall. No matter how hard the wolf blew, he could not bring it down. When he saw that this would not do, the wolf decided to try cunning instead of force. He called up to the third brother and said, "Pig, I know where there is a fine field of turnips." "Where?" said the pig. "Oh, in Mr. Smith's home field. If you will be ready tomorrow morning, I will come for you, and we will go together and get some for dinner." "Very well," said the pig. "What time do you mean to go?" "At 6 o'clock." But the third brother was not so easily tricked. The next morning he got up at 5. He went to the field by himself, he gathered the turnips, and he returned home before 6. When the wolf arrived, he called, "Pig, are you ready?" "Ready," said the pig. "I have been and come back already and brought home a fine potful for dinner." The wolf was displeased to hear this, but he said nothing of it and tried another plan. "Pig," said he, "I know where there is a very nice apple tree." "Where?" said the pig. "Down at Merry Garden," replied the wolf. "If you will not deceive me, I will come for you tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and we will go together and gather some apples." Now the pig wished very much to have the apples, but he had no mind to trust the wolf. So the next morning he rose at 4 and set off before the wolf arrived. The apple tree was farther away than he had expected, and he had to climb high among the branches to gather the fruit. Just as he was coming down again, he looked below and saw the wolf approaching. The wolf looked up and said, "Pig, what? Are you here before me? Are the apples good?" "Yes, very good," said the pig. "I will throw you one." And he threw an apple so far. The wolf ran off after it to fetch it. In that moment, the pig jumped down from the tree and made his way home at once. The next day, the wolf came again and said, "Pig, there is a fair in the town this afternoon. Will you go?" "Oh, yes," said the pig. "I will go. What time shall you be ready?" "At 3. But as usual, the pig set off much earlier than the wolf had planned. He went to the fair, looked about, and bought a butter churn. Then he started back home with it. On his way home, however, he saw the wolf coming down the road. Seeing no good hiding place nearby, the pig scrambled up onto the butter churn, meaning to hide in it. But as he climbed onto it, the churn tipped over by accident. Then the churn rolled away down the hill. It rolled faster and faster down the slope. The wolf, seeing the great churn rushing toward him, sprang aside in alarm. The churn chased him a little way, and the wolf ran off without looking back. Later, he went to the brick house and said that a great round thing had come rolling after him down the hill. Then the pig laughed and said, "Ah, that was only the butter churn. I climbed onto it to hide, and it tipped over and rolled away." But the wolf was more determined than ever, and he decided to come down the chimney. But the third brother was ready for him. He hung a great kettle of water over the fire and kept it steaming beneath the chimney opening. Then the wolf climbed onto the roof and began to creep down the chimney. But as soon as he came near the top of the kettle, a rush of hot steam and swirling soot rose up to meet him. The surprise sent him scrambling back at once. He shot up the chimney, leapt from the roof, and ran across the fields as fast as he could. And after that, the wolf never troubled the 3 pig brothers again. So the first and second brothers learned that quick and easy work is not always the wisest. And the 3 of them stayed together in the strong brick house, where where they lived safely and happily ever after.